Let's have a look at the essential techniques for BA. So very important. We've had a lot of discussions around this. We're talking about the elicitation process as a process. So discovery process. I think we did get a lot of questions around that. What are the discovery techniques and how should one as a BA go about doing the discovery? So we did spend some time around that. So let me have a quick kind of a recap of what we did last time. We had a look at the interviews. We discussed some of the techniques and tools like workshops, how we should do workshop, what is the value add for that, observations, focus groups. We did touch upon the focus groups. We looked at prototyping as one of the key techniques in the product development. Scenarios, the worst case scenario, best case scenario, and the average scenario, as well as some of the scenarios with respect to the given, when, and then, the Gherkin statements as what we call. So we've had a look at those different scenarios. We did look at the document analysis. Then there's something called a special purpose records, which is again, very important. We're going to discuss each of these in detail. And finally, the questionnaires or the survey forms that we would use to gather the data from the users. So we'll have a look at each of these in detail now and look at what are the advantages of them and what are the disadvantages in terms of application of that, of each of these techniques in real life. So starting with interview. So interview is a very, very useful tool. In fact, I've been using interviews for almost a good 2 decades now. I start off any project. Thankfully, as a consultant, I get to work more with the greenfield projects. So which means that the stakeholders do want to know about it. Yeah, don't make me think. That's right. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm just having a look at the chat. Thank you, Neha, for that. Yeah, that's the book, Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug, KRUG. All right, so talking about the interview. So as I said, I start off typically most of my projects, which are greenfield, because as a consultant, they expect a third-party person to come into this and then use the experience and the expertise to actually lay the roadmap for the project to go in a specific direction. So for that one, the first and foremost thing that I do is actually have interviews with the stakeholders. The key stakeholders, I start with internal ones, and then I go outside with the customers and users. So we tend to have one-on-one interaction with the stakeholders. They're typically the CEOs, the CIOs, the COOs, what we call the CXOs, or the head of departments, or the person who has got the budget for this project. So these are the kind of sessions, and I typically have a one-on-one, 1 hour session is what I would typically like to take with them. Very close call and trying to understand. It's better to have a personal interaction than over a call, but sometimes we do with video call or even a telephone call because they're too busy or they're traveling. And then we would, what it actually gives you is basically they are ready to share the information because it's a one-on-one interaction. You don't have very many people there. Once you establish the rapport with them, you say that I'm doing this for the benefit of the project. I'm here to help you. I'll say that I've been starting to try and set the roadmap, but it's important for me to understand what is in your mind. How do you like this to go forward? What are the expectations from your side? What are the objectives? What are the goals from the point of view of this? What do you think are the things that I should focus more in order to actually take this forward from here? So there's nothing there. It's ground zero. And from there, you try and build on the top of it. So that's where you try and establish the rapport. We talked about the rapport building last time, the skills and competencies. That would really help establish the relationship. And from there on, build on the top of it and try and extract. That's where you're talking about eliciting the report. It's not about tell me what this is. It's not about it. It's about understanding the workflow, understanding what his role, what his or her roles are, the responsibilities with respect to that. And how does this whole thing fit into that kind of context? So you need to ask questions in that way. So it's not just about asking one question, tell me what it is, and going back. It's about delving deeper. When did you last do this? What was the kind of experience that you had with this project? How do you envisage this going forward? All of these different things. That's where the BA skills come into fore. Again, you need to, as we discussed, it's about building the rapport and making sure that we establish the relationship, because it's all about that one-to-one. And once that is done, so what I do is I then go to the next level. It's about